Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you my starting 11 prediction for our game against Everton. So I'm gonna go with David De Gea in goal. Obviously David De Gea was in goal for the game against Southampton. Had very little to do, but he produced a fantastic save from a James Ward-Prowse free kick. And there has been some games this season where David De Gea has done well, and there has actually been signs of him slowly getting back to his best. Like I've said already, David De Gea is going to remain our number one for at least this season. This is his 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant, and he's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. Now at right back, I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is really improving. Obviously, he scored the first goal in the 9-0 win against Southampton. He showed very good attacking intent in the game against Southampton. Probably his best attacking display in his career. Wan-Bissaka has 2 goals for Manchester United. Defensively, he's superb. But when Wan-Bissaka does get forward, he can get in good positions, he can put good crosses into the box. He can take players on at the edge of the box as well. So that's good to see. The 2 centre-halves, I think we're going to go with Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. Eric Bailly didn't play any part against Southampton. But when Bailly has been playing recently, his performances have been very good. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury prone. And as for Harry Maguire, I think he's had good games this season, but he's also had bad games. He certainly wasn't worth the £80 million that we got him for. He is the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment. And he is our current captain. At left back, I think we're going to go with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is really improving. Defensively, he's been superb. He's getting forward well. He's getting into good positions. He's putting good crosses into the box. He's creating chances for his teammates. Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. He is injury prone though, is Luke Shaw, so that's my element of concern about him. Luke Shaw got 2 assists in the 9-0 win against Southampton. In the midfield, I'm going to go with Paul Pogba and Fred. I think Paul Pogba will play in this game against Everton because he didn't play any part against Southampton. I think the vast majority of Paul Pogba's performances have been good since he came back from that ankle injury that he had earlier on in the season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Recently though, we have been putting Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role. Seems to be effective there. But we don't always put him in that advanced role. Now I recently give you an update on Paul Pogba. Matthias Pogba, Paul Pogba's brother, said that Paul Pogba has got no intentions of signing a new contract at Man United. And he said he could leave on a free in 2022. So he's actually instructed us to sell Paul Pogba during the summer if we want to get the money. Fabrizio Romano, who is a very reliable Italian journalist, he recently gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future, and he said Paul Pogba's transfer away from Man United is still on the cards. Because he mentioned that Mino Raiola has been planning a move for Paul Pogba next summer. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. He has had a long-running transfer saga. In recent weeks, he's been linked with a move to PSG. Mino Raiola was talking with PSG, I think, a few weeks ago, and it mentioned that Mauricio Pochettino identified Paul Pogba as his top target. There's been narratives of him possibly going back to Juventus. Juventus are keen on re-signing him in the summer. Paul Pogba enjoyed 4 good years with Juventus. Fabrizio Romano said that Juventus offered us 4 players to try and sign Paul Pogba, and he's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. But he said a few weeks ago that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club. That means staying at Manchester United potentially past the summer. So it looks like Paul Pogba's not going to be signing a new contract at Man United. That's according to his brother, but his future is on hold until the end of the season. Now, Mino Raiola made an announcement back in December saying that his client's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intention of signing a new contract. Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. I think it said a few weeks ago that we revealed our asking price for Pogba. We want £75 million. Now, Fred, he's really improving at Manchester United. I think he's playing excellent passes. I think he's showing good attacking intent. He's also breaking up the play well. I think he just needs to read his game better. That's what he's got to work on. Fred has been at the club now for a few years. So yeah, Pogba and Fred. I think ahead of them two, we will go with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes obviously played in the game against Southampton, obviously scored and also got 2 assists. Because prior to the Southampton game, recently Bruno Fernandes was a bit out of form. Bruno Fernandes denies that he needs a rest. Obviously he wants to help the club win trophies. He recently said that Bruno Fernandes is planning on spending many years at Manchester United after his 12-month anniversary. He's the best player we've got, and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. He won Player of the Month for December, but he's won that now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. By the way, Man United are 3 months into talks over extending Bruno Fernandes' contract. I think it said contract talks had started after Bruno Fernandes has been here 10 months. Just after 10 months he was here, the contract talks started. And he predominantly plays as a number 10. On the left hand side, I think we're going to go with Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford obviously got his name on the score sheet against Southampton. You know, Marcus Rashford has been a bit out of form recently, but he made up for it in that good performance against Southampton. I think we need to keep Marcus Rashford out wide because that's where he's more effective. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for several years. I think on the right, we will go with Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood played against Southampton. He didn't get his name on the score sheet, but he did get an assist, and I think he did put a good performance out. Don't forget, earlier on this season, Mason Greenwood had personal issues. At one point, he had injury, and at one point, he was out with illness. Ollie's been defending Mason Greenwood a lot this season. And at the start of this season, we give Mason Greenwood that number 11 shirt. And I think up top, we will go with Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial didn't start the game against Southampton, but he did come on, got a brace, and he put a good performance out. Probably the best performance he's put out in a while, because, you know, this season Anthony Martial has been out of form. And obviously he has been criticised. You know, he has had chances, but he just hasn't converted them. Martial, you know, was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal era. Martial's been at the club now over 5 years. You know, sometimes he plays out wide, sometimes he plays centrally. Solskjaer was the one that gave him that number 9 shirt. So that's how I think we could line up against Everton. Edison Cavani, now, he got taken off at half-time in the game against Southampton because he sustained an ankle injury. That's been confirmed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Hopefully the ankle injury is not too severe, because Edison Cavani has made a fantastic impact, you know, since he come in. Obviously scored in the game against Southampton. But I just think Edison Cavani's hold-up play is very, very good. I think his movement in and out of the box is very, very good. You know, he creates good chances and he also scores goals. You know, we got Edison Cavani on a free transfer last summer on deadline day. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. I can assure he will see out his contract at the club and will possibly extend his contract. Solskjaer has said that Amad Diallo Traore could be making his debut for the club against Everton. Solskjaer said he will make a decision soon. Amad Diallo Traore recently made his debut for the under-23s. Obviously he scored twice because we beat Liverpool 6-3. We got Amad Diallo Traore in a deal worth £37 million with add-ons included. We paid £19 million up front. So yeah, it won't be too long now till we see him in action. Solskjaer has also said that Joe Hugel is in line for his debut soon. But yeah, this will be a good game against Everton. We're looking to beat them for the 3rd time this season, because we've already beaten them twice so far this season. We're beating them in the league 3-1 at Goodison Park, and we're beating them in the EFL Cup quarter-final 2-0 at Goodison Park. This is going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fourth appearance against Carlo Ancelotti as Manchester United manager. The last time Everton beaten us at Old Trafford was back in 2013, 1-0. It was a goal from Oviedo. Both games between us and Everton last season were 1-1 draws. But we're coming into this game full of confidence, like I mentioned on the preview, because we recently beat Southampton 9-0. And we are record breakers. The first time we'd scored 9 goals since the 9-0 win against Ipswich back in 1995, which is 26 years ago. Everton recently beat Leeds 2-1. And Everton are enjoying a pretty good season. I think they're sitting 6th in the league. Carlo Ancelotti is a very, very good manager. He's been Everton manager, Ancelotti, now for over a year. When Everton appointed him in, he signed a 4.5-year deal. He has got a very, very good pedigree behind him. He's won 15 major trophies as a manager. Everton have brought quite a few players in under Carlo Ancelotti. They recently brought Joshua Kinnan from Bournemouth. They got him on deadline day. I think he recently made his debut. They also brought Decore in, who's made an impact at Everton. They also brought James Rodriguez in. He's made a fantastic impact at Everton. They also brought Allen in. Brought Ben Godfrey in. Brought Olsen in on loan. And also brought Nkunku in as well. By the way, I think Allen has got an injury for Everton. Yes, so they have got some good players, Richie Arledson, he's one of their key players, he could cause us problems, they've got that Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he could cause us problems, we've inquired about his availability before. They've also got Bernard, they've got Alex Iwobi, they've got Sigurdsson, he used to score a lot against us, during his time at Swansea. I think he scored against us as an Everton player. They've got Fabian Delph. They've got that Lucas Digne, very good left back. They've got Michael Keane. I presume he'll be reuniting with Man United on Saturday. They've got Mason Holgate. Seamus Coleman is still with them. They've got that Yerry Mina as well. Jordan Pickford, to be honest with you, I don't really rate him now. He did very, very well for England, though, in the 2018 World Cup. Everton have let a few players go, like I mentioned on the preview. Obviously, they lost Idrissa Gueye. I think he's probably one player Everton should have kept. They let Moise Kean go out on loan. Theo Walcott left them to go out on loan with Southampton. They obviously let Balassi go. Obviously, Leighton Baines left them because he retired. Schneiderlin left them as well. We've done business with Everton before. Obviously, we got Lukaku off them back in 2017. We got Fellaini off them back in 2013. Obviously got Rooney off them back in 2004. So, yeah. But like I say, Everton have been very, very consistent under Ancelotti. Obviously, before they had Ancelotti, they had Duncan Ferguson. on a temporary basis. Before they had Duncan Ferguson, they had Marco Silva, and they obviously sacked Marco Silva because he was inconsistent under him. At one point they had Roberto Martinez, and to be fair, Everton were very consistent under him. And one point they had David Moyes, and David Moyes endured like 11 years with Everton. After Everton, we have got West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round. You know, that's going to be a tough game. Because West Ham are playing well this season. You know, David Moyes, to his credit, is doing very, very well in his second spell with West Ham. So yeah, Moyes will be reuniting with Manchester United. And after West Ham, we have got West Brom, I think, and then I think it's Real Sociedad in the Europa League. I am disappointed. I think Man United had a disappointing January transfer window because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. And I still think Man United need more signings. You know, I've already given you the areas where I think we need to strengthen up. I think we need a world-class striker, we need a world-class midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. I think it mentioned that we're looking to make around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. I'm expecting us to make signings in the summer transfer window. I'm expecting us to make probably 2-3 signings. You know, Woodward must back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. But yeah, Solskjaer did say, didn't he, during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. And he said the exact same thing on deadline day. But he said that, you know, more fringe players could leave, which they did. You know, we saw a few players leave in January. Obviously, we saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. You know, Lingard scored twice on his debut for West Ham against Villa. I think West Ham could end up getting him permanently, to be honest with you, because I think we want to get rid of Lingard on a permanent basis. You know, is the swap deal that could happen, you know, Lingard and Declan Rice. You know, I'd definitely take Declan Rice at Manchester United. He's a good player. You know, we'll let Facundo Pellistri go out on loan. We'll let Tegan Mengi go out on loan. Odion Igalo said his farewells to the club. You know, Rojo left us, went to Boca Juniors. Obviously, we saw Timothy Fosu-Mensah leave the club. He joined Bayer Leverkusen. Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood now since he got recommended in, so we've got to credit him for that. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Manchester United manager. I just don't think Solskjaer's been backed enough in the transfer windows he has endured so far. And obviously Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Solskjaer. And even when we was enjoying them bad periods under Solskjaer, Woodward came out and assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. But he said towards the end of last year, didn't he, that he will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Woodward's been at the club since 2012, so he's been here a while now, and you've had the Glazers at the football club since 2005. Like I've said to you, the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, and for a long time, a lot of Man United fans have been demanding the board out. But like I say, there has been a lot of players on our agenda. As you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified his 2 top targets for the summer, and that is Jules Koundé from Sevilla and Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Jules Koundé's performances for Sevilla have been outstanding this season. As you all know, he's valued at £60 million. He's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux around 18 months ago. He is a defender. He's still young, so he has got a lot of development in him. So would you take him at Man United, Jules Koundé? And Erling Haaland, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would love to sign him. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer was the one that gave Erling Haaland his debut at Molde at just the age of 16. And in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a move to Man United. But I'm not expecting Haaland to leave this year. He could leave next year when his £68 million release clause becomes active. Erling Haaland's father, Alf Hinch Haaland, a few weeks ago, were talking about his transfer links to Man United. Erling Haaland has been at Dortmund over a year now. Dortmund got him in January last year. Paid just £17 million for him. He's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Now, you already know the news on Jadon Sancho from Dortmund. Bild have recently said that Borussia Dortmund have reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million. But it mentioned that we have now ended our interest in Sancho. I think because of the form of Amad Diallo Traore. Sport 1 recently said that Dortmund were relying on Jadon Sancho's sale. Because Dortmund, it said, will be forced to lower their demands. Because it said they was expecting losses around £88 million due to the coronavirus pandemic. But Dortmund are expecting him to leave in the summer. Don't forget, last summer, Sancho was our number 1 priority target, but Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. And it actually said recently, before narratives come out saying that we ended our interest in Sancho, it said we'll go in for Ousmane Dembele if we fail to sign Jadon Sancho again. So yeah. But yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his second full season at the moment. Obviously, I am Ole in. Obviously, we had 2 disappointing results prior to the game against Southampton, but obviously a couple of disappointing results isn't going to change my perception on Solskjaer. Solskjaer has been criticised quite a lot of times, since he got recommended in as Man United manager, especially earlier on in the season, reflecting how inconsistent we was. We deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer though, because he could have easily have been sacked as Manchester United manager, because we have endured bad periods under him. But I think he has made very, very good progress in the last year or so. Like I said, players are improving, performances are improving. We've been exceptional away from home. Reflect on that 0-0 draw with Arsenal, we set a new club record. We are unbeaten in our last 18 Premier League away games. We was 13 unbeaten in the Premier League until Sheffield United had beaten us. We haven't been great at home this season. We have won a few games now at Old Trafford this season. I think we've lost 5 games at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season as well. Despite Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's progress, I still think he's still got a few things to do with the club, like I've already gone through with you. I think he's got to identify his best 11. I think he's got to give Donny van de Beek more opportunities. And I think he's got to get his selections right persistently. Because there's been a lot of games where he's been tactically naive, but there's also been some games where he has showed tactical flexibility as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer knows how important it is, by the way, to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.